I will never come here and say I have the solutions for Jamaica, but I think we need to have the same type of dialogue with the community. What do you need? And I think you'll probably come to the same conclusions, that you look at what's driving crime. But there needs to be a concerted effort from all segments of society to say, we want to have the best Jamaica we can. Just like I said, we need to have the best Winnipeg that we can. And we have government, we have business, we have citizens, everyone speaking the same language. And so when you have that type of movement taking place, I think it's very difficult to stop it. If I draw the parallel to what I did in Winnipeg when I first took office, was I went around and I had 12 forums across the city of Winnipeg with our citizens. What are your needs? Because my philosophy is crime prevention through social development. But just by me saying that, that was not enough. So I engaged the community in a real meaningful dialogue, and I asked them, what do you need? Not a single community said they needed more police. They talked about those socio-economic challenges. Winnipeg really does have economically a very excellent climate. It's not a city that experiences a boom or a bust. It's always on the rise. When you look at the diversity, an incredibly diverse city, but we do have some crime issues, and particularly in certain pockets of the community. And again, rather than just looking at the crime and looking at that as a symptom, I say, what's the root cause? And so if you look at the areas where we have significant crime issue, it's because of the socio-economic challenges that people are facing in those areas. And so my approach to tackling crime is to first tackle those socio-economic factors that are at the root cause of crime. So the crime stats just came out, I think it was on Monday, for the year 2013, and we've seen a 13.4% reduction in crime in our city. So we're moving very quickly in the right direction. We had a 16% drop in murders. Now, it's nothing compared to what's happening in Jamaica, I must say. We had 30 murders in 2012, and so last year we had 25. You know, I think there are some parallels to what's happening in Winnipeg, and I think any community. Again, I talked about the fact, let's not just look at the symptom, which is what we're seeing as crime, but let's look at what's the root cause. And so, as I indicated earlier, I think people need hope, vision, they need opportunities, and that's what we need to try to provide, because I think right across the world, if you look at their high crime issues, you will see there are also some high socio-economic issues. So I think we need to just collectively try to address that piece of it. Again, to build trust requires dialogue. To build trust requires you knowing that I have your best interests at heart in everything that I'm doing. That's why I went to the community and I said to the community, I am here to serve the community. What do you need? I think with that type of approach, doesn't matter where you're living, I think that cuts across all boundaries. When someone knows that your first and primary purpose is looking for their well-being. It will take time, but I think it begins with a real meaningful dialogue, but you have to engage people. We, as a police service, I said, we're here to serve the citizens, so there's no point for me to sit with my senior officers and say, here is what we're going to do. I need to know what your needs are if I'm truly here to serve you. I think the support of the politicians is incredibly important. Because again, in funding some of these initiatives, it definitely comes from the political arm. So it's important to have the politicians, the administration, the public, our officers, truly all of us speaking the same language, because I could not go forward with an initiative and then you would have the government come out and say something absolutely different. The beauty of what I'm speaking about is that I engage government, and right from the very top level in the provincial government, you'll hear all of us speaking the same language, crime prevention through social development. And when you look at it economically, you know, it's a far more prudent approach, because it costs a lot more to put more officers on the street, build more institutions to lock people up, a lot less to simply go out and engage and deal with the social issues which are driving crime. We are a separate arm. We're independent. We're there to protect the rights of all people, politicians, citizens as a whole. And if a politician was to try and interfere with the police in that regard, it really would be political suicide. We have a justice minister, but even the justice minister, you cannot direct the police. It's in legislation. You can't direct the police. You know, I've often said now I don't necessarily plan my future, but I am open to everything. So wherever it takes me, yes, absolutely. I mean, having made this trip back to Jamaica, I really feel this strong connection that there's something, I don't know what it is, but I'm open to see whatever I can do to continue to help Jamaica move forward. Well, again, it's very humbling. I never set out to make history. When people ask me, was this always your desire, always your goal? No, I set out to make a difference. And in just working to make a difference, this is where it's taken me. So it's very humbling to be the first.